So this past week, I was doing some drum tests, and it dawned on me that I'd never covered this specific topic before. And it's the idea of recording with plugins. Go ahead and baking in a flavor from a plugin as you record. This is common in systems like Luna or high-end Pro Tools systems, but I don't use either of those DAWs. In fact, I use 3 or 4 different DAWs, and this is a way to do it even if you don't have those DSP-based systems. So this has some really cool benefits. We're going to talk about 3 of them today. Let's check out what I have cooking here. So that was my beginning drum sound, and then here's what I ended up with. Again, these are no plugins on right now, okay? So you can hear the difference in the toms, you can hear a difference in the kick. And so really the 3 benefits of this is, you can spread the load of the CPU power, okay? In this very first example right here, there is no plugins applied. And here, what I did is I had plugins working on the inputs as I recorded. So instead of weighing down my computer as I mix, I already have step 2 and 3 done from the get-go. So it's pretty cool. So you spread the CPU usage. You also boost morale in your studio. If you play back your drum tracks and people you're working with, they're like, wow, that sounds really good, like just for raw drum tracks. Well, the secret is that they're not completely raw. They have a little bit of extra secret sauce already applied. So it boosts morale and confidence, which then just makes the session a little bit easier because there's more trust, and therefore the session has more creative freedom and energy, really. And then third, you can actually pick something like a transformer plugin like the Cush Audio or Tape Emulator. Pick your favorite flavor and just keep using it over and over again and just kind of develop a signature sound for your studio. Kind of like a console at a bigger studio. A console has a sound. It's the same preamp over and over again for all the drums and instruments and things. So it kind of gets that effect. Again, we're not using CPU to do that. We're just kind of doing it as we go, and we're layering in these sounds and flavors. So how to actually pull something like this off? Well, again, both of these have no plugins currently. They're just baked in, okay? This one is raw, and this one is baked in. Okay, once more. Yeah, so way different. And what I did is I started out with this raw track. The big advantage to something like a Luna system or a high-end Pro Tools system is provided that you have the DSP version of the plugin and the zero latency and all that, which I have some of that. But that big advantage is like real-time listening. And here we're getting the same benefits, but we're going to do a test recording. We're going to try out the plugin, dial it in, and then apply it to the input. We also could software monitor, but we would have then a delay. So we're not even going to bother. I've never bothered software monitoring. I just monitor from my sound card mixer. And so here, we're going to go ahead and play back the track, and then we can go and we can dial in something that we know we pretty much always use, something like an EQ or saturation, something like that. And so I can go ahead and just start, dialing it in. And, whatever. We find the sound we like, we listen in context, it's sounding good. And then I have it saved here. So I went ahead and saved that preset. And then you turn it off. And then you go to the input. There we go. And as far as I know, most DAWs have a way to look at the input. And this idea is really pretty cool. I don't know how many DAWs you can do this, but Ableton Live, I don't think you can do this. Okay, but I believe most of the others you could, and you can just apply an effect to the input, and it gets recorded and baked into the raw sound. So then I'll go ahead and apply the, I'll put a Pultec on here and then pull up the saved preset, and there you go. Okay, so I listened to the raw sound over here before I auditioned this, and then when I have new raw mic sound coming in, I know what to expect because I've listened. I haven't made any changes. I know what to expect, and I've auditioned this sound, and I know it works. So one interesting idea, and this is kind of, your results might vary, but this is how I do a lot of outboard stuff, is I'll actually take the output, and I'll make sure not to do any adjustments with the gain. I'll make sure to zero everything out, and no clip gain or anything like that. So this will just be the straight preamp gain coming in. And so that is the exact level that it's coming into the computer, and it'll go exactly to the outboard, that same level. And then I know it basically allows me to audition something like a compressor to get the level of the threshold, precise setting on that. And so it allows me to see what kind of levels the mic preamps are doing, set the compressor, then I can patch in the outboard and go ahead and compress in real time. And this is kind of one of my workarounds for, working alone, recording my own drums here at the studio. So this same concept applied to the input effects is that we can take something like a compressor and we can do the same thing. Zero out any gain settings, so this is just totally raw. Go ahead and get our settings. Okay, so adjust it, whatever. Go ahead and save it, and then turn it off. Come back to the input, and load it up. So there we go, my initials, distressor. So now I understand about how loud it's coming into the compressor, and it'll just get baked right in as I record. So, you do this enough times, it really starts to compound, especially if you use the same setups over and over again. You can save a lot of processing power by doing this. And this is kind of what happens, at a big studio. You have lots of outboard. You can go ahead and sneak in a little processing on the vocal with an LA2A, so it's not totally naked on playback. And so the song kind of sounds like more polished, and even though it's in a raw state. Again, this is going back to that confidence boosting thing where people will hear it and they'll be like, wow, this studio has a really good sound to it. It really sounds amazing, and these are the raw tracks, and it's just this idea of these are the raw tracks. This is amazing. Well, it helps when you kind of jump ahead, you apply a little compression or whatever. So this is a way to do it, okay? If you really want to do it, I recommend more of something like this, or maybe a tape emulator, something where you like the sound. You want to sneak a little flavor in? Awesome. A little EQ that you're going to use just about every time you do kick, you do this. Awesome, okay? I even have this SK10. The thing won't even, this computer's so old, it won't even load the plugin right. But you know, I'm sharing the CPU of the computer, so I can go ahead and get some of my processing done right now on the way in. And there's just less plugins I have to try to run on this old computer from 2014. And so, yeah, it's a great way to share the load. And of course, give your studio a sound, a signature sound, if you're into that sort of thing. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this and the 3 reasons on why you want to experiment with maybe printing with your plugins. So look up in your DAW's manual if it can do this. I think I've seen it in Logic where it'll show the ins and outs on different tracks, and yeah, I mean, as far as I know, most DAWs should be able to do it. But yeah, let me know on your results as far as what you're able to do in your DAW, and if there's any any twists or things you got to watch out for. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll be hanging out in the comments below. See ya.